Thank you. Good evening. My name is Terrence Hoy. Welcome to the Board of Fire Commissioners, Newcastle Fire District Number 1 regular meeting. Today is Thursday, February 17th, 2022. It's approximately 7 p.m. and we are located at 491 King Street in Chappaqua. I'm going to call the meeting to order at this time. Will you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Commissioner. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A moment of silence, please, for all members of the Chappaqua Fire Department who have passed. Thank you. Everyone is in attendance tonight. Commissioner Chris Weddle is joining us remotely. We have our treasurer here. We have our secretary here. And I just wanted a little shout out to Carrie from the Newcastle Media Center, who's testing out some new equipment and helping us with some options. Thank you very much, Carrie. And we also have Miss Lynn Lambert in the audience as well. Welcome, everybody. So having said that, statement regarding public comments. The purpose of this meeting is to conduct the business of the district. Approximately a year ago, we put public comment to the end. This way we can get through our business, and we have an awful lot of business to do here tonight. However, if at any time a commissioner thinks otherwise, just let us know this evening. Correspondence. I would like to read a letter. We received a fantastic letter, and I'd like to read it in its entirety. It's addressed to the Newcastle Fire District Number 1, and it says, "Dear Newcastle Fire Department, I teach 3rd grade during the regular school day, but I also have a special after-school group, CSO. CSO stands for Children's Service Organization. This group is composed of 40 to 50 4th graders who donate their time and talents to do projects for the school, the community, animals, and the earth. My CSO group wanted to show appreciation to the wonderful people in your community. Some of them made cards for you. Thank you for everything you do each and every day for everyone in Newcastle." And it's signed Melissa Billings, the CSO leader at the Roaring Brook Elementary School. And this is fantastic. In addition to that, I'll just show you the kids put together cards and like little PowerPoint presentations for the firefighters. So we're going to pass this along to the chief staff right after. Thank you very much to the teachers and students at the Roaring Brook School. Thank you very much for that. In addition, we received an official correspondence from Eric Nicolason dated February 3rd, 2022. We invited Eric to come down tonight to discuss his letter. And should Eric show up, I think we'll give Eric an opportunity to jump in and discuss anything he may want to discuss with us for our consideration. All right, Chief's report.
No chiefs present.
No chiefs present. Treasurer's report.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Are we not going over the chief's report?
They're not present. None of them are here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I submitted the check register for your approval, please. As you will note on the bottom, we also had wires for debt, principal and interest. It was due March 1, and since our Westchester Bank is converting to Valley starting tomorrow, I wired the money early so that we wouldn't have any penalties for having a late payment through a new bank. So you see the check register is, larger than normal, but $297,946.82. And we also have our LoSAP contribution in the check register. And we had approved an additional amount, but they will invoice us separately. That's all I have.
So I'm clear on the 108,000, which is somewhat shy of the 162 that was approved the balance will be in a separate check?
Yes, they're going to invoice us directly for the difference and for the fee for the auditors for that report.
Okay, and the North Castle landscaping check for 4,000 and change, what was that for?
The month of January, there were a lot of snow plowing.
Plowing and salting, Chris.
And it's-
Yeah, did you hear about the fact that perhaps it wasn't actually salted? Are we paying them for not salting?
He salted.
Not enough.
I asked Tony. And Tony
Yes,
told
Tony,
me,
what? We had a firefighter go down in the parking lot. It wasn't salted enough. Are we paying them for that?
we're paying on the salt. The salt goes down, and an hour later they have an alarm, and it freezes again. There's not much you can do. And I don't know who the fireman was, but I do know some of them. They don't walk across the parking lot. They run. And on ice, you don't run. I'm not saying that's why they slip, but I mean, Chris, there's other factors here. I mean, that ice storm we had, he couldn't keep up with it. It no sooner hit the ground, it turned to ice. And he'd been here salted already.
I was out that day and there were places that kept up to it. We're an emergency services operation. We should have priority. That's what our contract says, right?
And he was here. And he's done the job the way he's supposed to do the job. Way
Well,
was set up.
that's debatable. I don't think he did the job the way he was supposed to do the job if we had a sheet of ice in the parking lot. And I'm not sure why we're paying him if he did not do the job.
Well, as far as I know, and I asked Tony, because I asked Tony, and Tony told me he did do it. Tony plowed and he salted.
Right?
Right? So if you don't want to pay him, don't pay him. I'm not arguing with you over it.
I'm not arguing either. It just seems like an awful lot of money to pay for a job that wasn't done.
You're saying it wasn't done.
No,
I'm saying it was done. And
The
you got
fire-
one person saying it wasn't done.
Well, actually, it was more than one person, but isn't one enough? Isn't one person that goes to the ground enough in an emergency situation trying to get on a truck? How many people do you need?
You don't need any, Chris. But I told you, it was sanded, it was salted, and I know when it was. It was during that ice storm.
I know that, but whatever it was insufficient.
All that easy to keep up with, because we're not his only customer. He does the church, congregational church.
The church didn't have an emergency during that storm. We did.
Chris, excuse me, Brian, please excuse me a second. Chris, we're in the middle of treasurer's report right now. Do you propose something right now, or can we just move on and put this into committee reports?
Well, I'm questioning as to why we're paying a bill that for services that were not rendered pursuant to the contract that we had. That's my question.
Chris, are you proposing something at this time?
Yeah, well, obviously I can't make a motion because I'm remote, but I'm proposing that check. Well, has it already been written, Robin?
Yes.
All right. Well, then I'm proposing we consider it going forward because that money's already out the door and it probably should not have gone out the door, in my opinion.
It was a number of times. It wasn't one storm. It was like 7, right?
Yeah, there's several times he came. Not the one storm.
Anything further, Robin? Treasurer's report?
No, just if you would approve the check register.
Make a motion to approve the check register.
Do we have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chris, are you going to weigh in remotely?
I can't move. I can't move. I can't vote remotely.
Yes, you can.
No, I think Executive Order 202 has expired.
No, it's valid through March 1st.
Ah, well then, I vote aye.
Thank you. All right. Is that it, Robin?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Now, we promised, or we didn't promise, we discussed, when Eric showed up, we'd give him the floor. We'll just back up a little bit right now, and we'll give Eric the floor for a few minutes. Under official correspondence, Eric, we indicated that you sent a letter dated February 3rd. We received it on February 8th. We invite you to come to the meeting to have a few minutes with us, and we'll consider your comments.
Well, it's the fourth and fifth letter that I've written to the board. Information has arisen over a period of time which wasn't available. After I resigned as commissioner, I foiled with the village of Mount Kisco and discovered the information that the village had been handing out to us for years in regard to the number of responses was highly overstated. For the 2 years in question that I previously received it, there have been a total of 9 calls. And then what I did is just recently this year, I filed for last year plus the 2 prior years, give us a 5-year span, and discovered that we only got 5 calls during that 3-year period, which means we've had a cumulative number of 14 calls over a 5-year period. And one of those calls is questionable. It's on the Kisco Armonk Road. I'm not sure which side of the road it was on. If it was on one side, it would be us. If it was on the other side, it would be the Northern Protection District. So effectively, we've been paying steadily increasing fees. My estimate is up to this point, we've spent over $1 million in paying to the village of Mount Kisco for very little service. The original grounds for establishing the contract back in the 50s, based on dispatching and the type of trucks and things of that nature, had a certain justification. But over the next couple of eons, with a switch to 911, multi-dispatch by county control rather than local control, et cetera, the underlying reasons, in my estimation, have completely disappeared. And at this particular point, paying them $90,000 a year for 3 calls means we're paying them $30,000 per call, which in my estimation is exorbitant. Our normal call for our own particular district, based on the number of calls in our budget, is somewhere between $200, $500, and $3,000. So anything above $10,000 paid to the village of Mount Kisco is exorbitant. And I personally see, under the current conditions, time of exposure, et cetera, the fact that on a major alarm, multiple departments are going to come out at the same time instantaneously. So the response is on a major alarm is totally immaterial on a thing. And I think either we should substantially reduce the amount that we're paying or eliminate the contract period.
Any feedback or comment from the board on this? Any discussion?
Well, do you want to jump to the contract out of order?
Oh, hold 1 second. One question there. The chief states that he can't do it.
Why does he say he can't do it?
He says it's just too far for him to cover.
The answer is, frankly, for the type of calls that were had on the 9 different calls, on the original calls that we had, the trucks could respond from Austin. It would take longer, but it would have totally immaterial in terms of the response and what needed to be. They were all false alarms. They were odor alarms. They were lighting power alarms, et cetera. There wasn't a single alarm in there. The time was a factor as far as I could see.
But it's just that one time. So all it takes is that one fire.
If you want to spend $90,000 for one alarm for a 2 or 3 minute difference in time, then that's your justification. I've discussed this with some prior board members, and I've discussed this with members of the public, and they all consider it exorbitant.
Brian, can I ask a question?
That's all. Yes.
Yeah, wasn't there a previous chief who said it could be done?
Yes, he said it could be done, but he was only in for like about 6 months. Then the other chief came in and said he couldn't do it.
I physically.
We had a chief for 6 months?
Chris, he was in for his year, but that's all he had left on it that he was in for, was another 6 months.
Oh, so he'd been in for 2 years and 6 months.
He was in his term. He only had 6 months left on his term when this all came about.
And that
And he
chief
said
thought
he
it could be, that chief thought it could be done.
Yes.
This particular contract has been steadily increasing in price. In my estimation, once we went to 911 and other things of that nature, the contract should have been looked at. It has been basically just renewed by road for some 40 plus years. In my estimation, I've driven the physical, any one of you could drive the distance out there. The only difference it's going to make is in terms of 4 to 5 minutes maximum. My personal feeling, less than 3 minutes differential between Mount Kisco getting there and us getting there. And the
Mr.
alarms-
Nicolason, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that calculus would change at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 3:30 in the afternoon when you have school buses on the road though, right?
I just took it at standard road speeds without attempting to speed. And I did it, if my memory is correct, around 12 o'clock. So there were trucks on the road, et cetera. My assumption is the fire trucks would get by because of the ability to pass, but there's no question it would take a longer time. But you have to remember that for a major alarm, where we're talking something that's really smoke in the house or something like that, 60 control is going to dispatch Armonk, ourselves, Mount Kisco, probably Bedford, maybe Millwood. I just don't know. I don't know the exact dispatch for that type of thing. So Mount Kisco is going to come out on a major alarm and they're going to be there first, no question about it. And we're going to be there probably second. But the answer is the $90,000 that we're paying has nothing to do with a major alarm. Major alarm is a freebie because we're all committed by state law to mutual aid. So the only question we're talking about is it worth spending $90,000 for a group for 3 minor alarms per year?
Right, but and I'm familiar with mutual aid, but mutual aid is called out by the chief on the scene. And if we take it over, that means our chief,
No,
right?
No, Chris, that has changed some. They have a program now that's set up that certain calls, it's automatically called out.
Okay, so if you see, so if you see smoke and whatnot, they'll send everybody.
Yeah, 1075 they'll send everybody.
Please, one at a time for the
Right?
sake
I
of
mean,
the,
it's a 1075 is a major alarm, and that's when they'll dispatch everybody. But if it doesn't come over as a 1075, then they'll just dispatch the one company.
However, the 60 control receiving the call, one of the things he's supposed to do is query what is going on. Person says, I have an automatic alarm. Person says, I have smoke in the house. He's going to hit the alarm and multiple departments are going to show up.
and any other discussion on this matter for now? I'll just say one thing. We did, Chris was about to mention, I believe, we did receive earlier today a contract for review. The board needs to review it and consider that contract moving forward. Our attorney, Michael Ligori from Hogan Rossi, has been working on this for over a year. I believe that our attorney has been giving us very good advice on this. However, I think that the board does need a little bit of time to review the contract, review the emails from our attorney, and consider not only the emails in the contract, but also the comments that Eric Nicolason made here tonight. So if we can perhaps move on, and we need to consider everything before the board takes it up for further discussion. Is that good, Chris, on that, you think?
That's good, but I do have a comment on the contract. This may not be the right time, but I do have a comment on the proposed contract.
Why not? Eric is here. It's been on the agenda for over a year. Why not, Chris? Does anyone object? Yeah. Well, let's do it.
Okay, so as I read the contract, and I could be wrong, and I'm sorry Michael's not here, is that the district shall pay to the village for services determined by an apportionate that considers all the properties in the village of Mount Kisco in the zone that we're talking about and the Northern Fire Protection District. And my concern is that it creates those 141 houses or whatever it is, those 141 properties of voters in our district to paying a higher rate for fire protection because they're covered by the village. I understand Michael's argument. I think it's equitable, but I wonder whether it's fair because the residents of our district don't vote in the village. And so there's a disenfranchisement issue that concerns me. It's not a roadblock to me, but I think we ought to, at least send a letter, 141 letters out and say, this is what we're doing. And what do you think? Because if their taxes are going up significantly, and I suspect under Michael's proposal, which seems, as I said, equitable, it's not going to be the $90,000 Mr. Nicolason is talking about, but it may be a hike. Maybe it's $100 a year. Maybe nobody cares. I don't know.
Well, that's an excellent point. And I think we need to, yes, Eric.
I'd like to clarify a couple of things. The Northern Protection District is with the town of Newcastle and should not be in that contract in any way, shape, or form. The contract that we have solely deals with 141 properties, 142, I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly. They're located basically between Taylor Road and Armonk Mount Kisco Road and are within our district, not in the Northern Protection District. So there should be no reference in that contract to the Northern Protection District. That's solely between them and the town of Newcastle. Now,
although Mr. Nicolason, that's actually to our district residents' benefit because it spreads the cost out over a larger population. So that's actually good for us.
Oh, no, because what we're doing is we have some 3,000 plus properties in our district, including 140. Their money is included or is moved into the total budget for the Newcastle Fire District, period. Has nothing to do with the town or Northern Protection District. What we're doing is we are taking the entire district, we're paying monies to Mount Kisco, which we are then taking out of the entire district, not just those 140 properties, but are increasing the taxes to every taxpayer within of the 3,000, 3,500 that we have are all paying their proportionate share to Mount Kisco for that extra service within that territory. But anything else would reference, if that contract that we're looking at says something about Northern Protection, that should be taken out completely because it's a totally extraneous and has nothing to do with whatsoever with what we're talking about.
Thank you, Eric. Anything else on this?
Yeah. As I asked before,
Please.
and I've asked in the past, why can't we go to the town and ask them to take that part over and put it in the Northern District?
You can, what you're going to do is you're going to end up taking that 140 people and move them into a higher expense district. Right now, if you look at the three districts servicing the town of Newcastle, Millwood is the highest, Mount Kisco is next, and we're the lowest. So what you're saying to those 140 people, we want to take you out, stick you into the Mount Kisco Fire Protection District, if that's what you want to do, and you're going to pay extra for that privilege. And then we would no longer respond other than on master mutual aid.
I think these are questions we need to bring back to Michael Liguori. Chris, what do you think?
I don't think they're legal questions. I think they're policy questions, and I think the intent is clear. I think maybe it warrants further discussion after the board has had an opportunity to digest the proposed contract. Or is there a sense of urgency here that I'm not aware of? I don't know.
Well, no, there isn't actually. It's been on the agenda for over a year now. And I believe that this, not speaking for everyone, but I do believe that we were conducting due diligence on this and working with not only our attorney, but the town manager from Mount Kisco, along with our partners here in Newcastle, to get to the bottom of this. I would like to note that what Chris was referring to, I'd like to read it because we may have confused two issues here. It says, paragraph 5 in this contract, which is only a proposed contract right now, it says, the rate of service shall be determined by apportioning the budget for the provision of fire services across all of the properties in the village, town of Mount Kisco, in zone LF, that's the 140 some odd properties, the entire Northern Fire Protection District in the town of Newcastle, and the Bedford Fire Protection District #1 in the town of Bedford, and allocating the pro rata share of all costs across the aforementioned properties equally. So we just had a discussion regarding the Northern Fire Protection area, district, if you will, but I think that we weren't speaking to what Chris had brought up that caused that bit of a discussion. So with that, any more comment or discussion on this? But I agree with you, Chris, this does warrant more discussion. And I think that Commissioner Murphy has a very good point as well. Perhaps we need to bring that to Mike Liguori, who's been assisting us on this now for, as I said, over a year. Eric, anything else? Thank you for coming in.
You see my letters, and I've been, gathering the information from, fire department as to the actual responses. And unfortunately, what Mount Kisco has been doing is taking responses to the Northern Protection District, including it in what is covered by this small protection district. And that's the figures they've been feeding us as to what their response or what.
It's not actually a protection district. It's actually a fire protection zone.
Well,
It's,
whatever you want to call it.
it is a zone.
They're combining two of them and telling us this is the figure that what they're doing. When in actual fact, it's a very minute amount of what they're doing. The total amount of calls that they had on the list, I believe, over that 5-year period within what they call Newcastle Fire District, which includes Northern, is somewhere on the order of about 90 to 100 calls, if my memory is correct. And only 14 of them go to these 140 parcels.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Anything else on that? Okay, thank you. Secretary's report, please.
We're working on transferring over information to the new website platform. And as soon as the board is
Thank you, Eric.
comfortable with the transfer, we will switch over, but not until then. And I have a set of minutes before you from the January 20th meeting.
I will entertain a motion on those minutes.
I have a comment on those minutes.
Yes, please. Well, we can have a discussion. So we have a motion. Did we have a second? All right, and then we'll go to discussion. Chris?
Sure. Chris, page 3.
Sure.
Under Commissioner Murphy.
I gave out my set.
Here,
Sorry.
Gave out my set.
here, use mine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Got it. Okay.
The center is spelled SENTER.
Oh, okay. Got it. Thank you.
That was it.
Thanks, Chris. Here, I'll take that back. All right.
I'll just make the change.
All right, thank you. All right. All right, so we have a motion. We have a second. We had a discussion. All in favor? Aye. To accept those minutes. Thank you. Committee reports. I have nothing on purchasing, uniforms, turnout gear, excuse me, medical, nothing on physicals. And I'll defer to projects. Ed's going to talk about a couple of things, and I'll opine on that when I get there.
Okay. just to review, as far as the Carlock garage goes, we're okay with that. They are required to submit an as-built plan to the town. And if it works for what they propose, that's fine. So that's done.
Yeah, and let me just say, for the sake of the residents and our good neighbor, Mr. Carlock and his family there, there was a minor issue with respect to property lines, and Mr. Carlock wanted to rebuild his garage. It's entirely out of our hands now, and we wish him luck with his new garage.
Yes.
I'm sure it's gonna be fairly decent when it's all installed. So good luck to our good neighbor, Mr. Carlock.
Absolutely. In reference to Oak Lane, still a work in progress. They still owe us a little bit of money that Lynn Weinig is working on. Well, in reference to, this goes back a ways here. Joe Modafferi and Lynn Weinig have been working with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation regarding the new building and what's going to be built there. What has to be included is what they call a SWIP, Stormwater Pollution Protection Program. There was some concern about a 5-year period, but it seems like that's been resolved. So far, Joe has filed an ENOI, which is an electronic notice of intent to proceed. And they're developing their final SWIP, Stormwater Pollution Protection Program. And what we also need is what they call an SPDES permit, State Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit. That's being worked on. So at this point, what we need to do, Joe Modafferi from JMC has provided us with a paper copy of the survey, which is known as an owner's certification for the SPDES general permit, which is the State Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. And I believe that Terry now has that. And to move things along, I would make a motion that Terry sign this for the board and send it back to Joe. And then we'll be continuing on our way to the final site plan approval process.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. This is the document that's just been referred to. I have reviewed this, and then what Joe needs from JMC is the owner operator certification form. And all it is just I would be certifying that we've reviewed this along with our engineers and we understand what's in the package. So we have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion,
Pardon me, Chris?
discussion. Why are we doing this again? Does it have to be re-upped every couple of years or something?
So let me try to answer this. So Chris, have you reviewed the emails? With respect to this
Let's forget that. I didn't see an email on that. Let's go back to this when we did the secret review. Stormwater and waste management was done and had to be signed off on. Does it have to be signed off on again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, sign off on it again.
And this also has to be approved by Bob Cioli, the town engineer.
Right, it was, and New York State too.
So Chris, I would just urge you to review the emails that were sent
I looked
to
at
the
them.
board.
I looked at them. There's nothing new there.
There is a lot of new stuff there, Chris. I would tend to disagree with you wholeheartedly, but
course.
that's fine. So this is simply a form to sign to continue with the process of ensuring that the district has the proper permitting should a referendum go through. So all this is.
In fact, in order to file the document, what's needed is the SWIP, Stormwater Pollution Protection Plan, signed by JMC, and the other document, which you now have, Terry, to be signed for
Yes.
the board. Yes, this does have to be done. And Bob Cioli is on board, the DEC is on board. It's been reviewed by Lynn Weiner.
There was an email noting that the original stormwater and containment management system might have to change in the near future. Is that included in this, or is that not?
That's for current conditions. I think it would be good. There's so many emails here. If you could go back, as Terry suggested, and read through them all, I think your questions would be answered.
Yeah, so there was a series of.
I've read them, and I was shocked when I saw them because it feels like we're duplicating work.
Well, I would disagree with that. We're not duplicating any work. In fact, the process is just it's moving forward. And there was a question. There was a question with respect to a time limit regarding when the old animal hospital came down.
No, I saw that email. I saw that email. From Joe. Yeah.
The 5-year period. This
I
is
saw the email from Joe. I saw it.
This is all germane to that issue.
Okay.
All we're talking about is the board approving a signature stating that we understand the permitting process that we're going through. That's the only thing we're talking about right now. I don't believe we've duplicated anything here.
No.
I don't know what that means.
No.
So having said that, end of the discussion on this one, Chris?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so all in favor for the chairman to sign this form?
All right.
Aye. Thank you. The agenda. Oh, we're still with you, Ed.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's left?
Is that it? Oh, masonry.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, because I see that further down under old business, but that's fine. So anyhow, as you know, we sent out RFPs, and I had 6 or 7 masonry companies, only 3 came back. They sent out their bids, and I reviewed it, and then they came back with their revised bids and how long it would take them, how many men would be on or women would be on the project as masons for what period of time. And I wrote up, I reviewed everything, and I sent out to everybody. Of the 3 contractors, there's one that I felt just would not be a responsible bidder, even though it was the lowest bid, for all the reasons that I documented. I thought that Arthur Vincent seemed to have a better understanding of the work that needed to be done, and although the highest bidder, but it may turn out that that company may provide the best value. I thought that their price to repair the walkway was too high. And if we did choose them, that work should be done by another company. Arista also has a good list of completed projects and is a possible choice. But based upon their proposed staff and their expected time on the job, they may not provide the most comprehensive work that we're looking for. If Arista is chosen, their cost to repave the noted walkway is reasonable and is good. So based upon the above, in my opinion, in order to obtain the most comprehensive job, I would go with Arthur Vincent, but I would have no objection if the majority of the board chose a less expensive contractor, which is Arista. So, you know, I open it up for any opinions. I sent this out to everybody.
Discussion on the matter? So who
I'd go with Ed's suggestion.
say again, Brian?
I would go with Ed's suggestion.
I'm going with Ed's recommendation on this one. He's worked this project to the bone.
So, can you make a motion?
I make a motion to go with Arthur Vincent.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chris, what say you?
Opposed?
4-1. Thank you, Ed, for all the work that you've done on this.
You're welcome.
And thank you for considering all the discussion on it as well. Is that it, Ed?
That's it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Murphy.
All right. There was a water main break. It was on 117 Bedford Road. And it turned out to be the coupling that where they tap into the main for our water. That was rotted out, so that was leaking. They fixed it, they repaired it. They were here to midnight. That was the other day. The heater, he replaced another regulator. The heat is coming up. There's one or two of them that's not coming up in. He's got to bleed. And we talked, and he's going to get me a price, what it would cost to put bleeders on each radiator upstairs, because there's no bleeders. So I'm going to get prices for the message board and the tile in the bathroom. I got a price of $2,003.40 to repair it. It is an emergency, so, and it's below the threshold. And that's with Casa Tile Designs. They're at No.1 King Street. And whatever your pleasure is.
Well, are you proposing something?
I'm proposing to go with Casa because it's an emergency and I got to get the tile fixed.
Do we have a second on that?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
5-0 on that one. Thank you.
Sir, I'd
Yes.
just like to say, you know, we hear so much in town about buying local.
Mhm.
And Casa Tile is right here in the downtown hamlet. So that makes it an even better choice.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. We went down and met with the manager or the owner. Forgive me, I forget her name now. And she was very, very nice and very, very helpful. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
The $3,400 that we spent on Clark Plumbing and Heating, what was that for?
That was for the big regulator.
Are those
And-
all new? We have all new ones now?
And we still got 3 old ones.
Can we fix them?
I'd wait. As long as everything's working right now in wintertime, I wouldn't touch it.
Well, there was a notice in the chief's report. There was a complaint that the building was without heat for a period of time. I don't know if it was an hour or a day or what it was. But can't we just get it done?
I'm sorry that they ran out of heat for an hour. I really am. But you know what? They got to understand something. I got to make a phone call. The guy's not going to be here in 10 minutes.
That's why I'm saying, why don't we knock it out, get it done, get it off the table, so our members have heat when they walk into the building.
Well, one way they'll have heat in the building if they close the damn doors.
Their garage doors, they're 17 feet, 17 feet high. But I mean, seriously, I mean, I think we
When
we
they go out
gotta
on
get
the
it
fire,
done.
they have a little button in the truck. They have to hit it, and it closes the door.
I'm just saying, why don't we get this thing running properly?
Well, I got one more thing to bring up, and then after that, you can turn everything over to Chris, because I really am done. I'm not arguing with people anymore. I'm not fighting with people.
You shouldn't have to do
I've done
either.
my job, and if they can't take that job, then I don't care. I'm not gonna argue with anybody anymore.
Brian, you're doing a fine job. We don't have to argue. Let me just say something, please. We
Well,
don't
it's becoming an argument.
No, right, give me a
I'm
second.
not arguing, heat's just pretty basic.
Excuse me, Chris, just give me a second, please. We don't have to argue. We don't have to fight. We're dealing with buildings that were built in 1954 and 1979, okay?
True.
And on occasion, these systems fail and or need a level of depot level maintenance. For example, we just recently had to replace a pump. That's a big deal, replacing a pump in the middle of the heating season. So
Yeah.
we're coming out of the heating season. We're going to have an opportunity to shut down the heating system and do some well-needed maintenance. During the heating season, these issues do come up. This is normal. So I just wanted to mention that. These are normal issues. Yes.
I agree with you entirely, Terry. But I think when firefighters are walking into the building, they should have heat. And rather than doing it piecemeal, this was done. Brian will remember. Brian was in charge of it. He did it. We replaced the boiler. We had a new burner. We picked the burner that we were supposed to do. Brian coordinated the remediation on the spill we had, put in the new oil tanks. Brian did all of that. But to the extent that we have things that are failing, let's replace them all at once so we don't have to worry about it.
I don't think there's any disagreement there. In fact, we need to do that after the heating season. And that's typically when it's done. It's done in the springtime or during the summer.
Do it when the system can be shut down.
That's when it's done.
And that's
The
what I
trouble
get
is-
price.
But the trouble is they're cold now.
So then we do an emergency repair and we get the heat back on as soon as we can. That's
I
how it
agree.
works.
I went upstairs yesterday, it was 61 degrees, so they had heat. And not have been 70, 80, they had heat.
61
Okay.
degrees.
And another
We gave them
thing is-
60 we gave them 61 degrees. That was nice of us.
One other thing to tell you, they want heat in the chief's office, they gotta remove the 2 file cabinets they got in front of the heater. That'll give them some more heat.
So, anything else?
I have something else, I'm gonna discuss it. And what I asked them for was 3 prices. That's for the painting of the whole building, because that's what the membership wants. So, to do he calls it the desk watch, but the radio room, bathroom, commissioner's room, both stairwells, and the apparatus doors inside and out, it's $12,180.
Brian,
Second.
are we throwing the bays in too?
Yeah,
We- Brian has gone nuts on this, and he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. We've been putting off maintaining this building in the hopes that the taxpayers would come around and realize that would be penny wise, pound foolish. But I think Brian's right. He's gotten the numbers. I think we should go all in on this and fix it. It's been years. We've been doing touch up for a decade.
I finish?
I'm done.
All right, the apparatus floor is different because he spray paints that. Because of all the pipes and everything and the whole thing. That's $19,975. To do completely the second floor, and on the second floor, that includes that trophy case. Because nothing's ever been done with that since it's been put up. And we looked at it and it needs help. That's a total of $1,760. Now, we can cut things out.
What's the outside number? What's the biggest number you can think of?
20, 30. Say roughly maybe 60,000 for the whole building.
Have we gone quotes? No.
I'm gonna have to go quote. I'm just telling you, this is how we're breaking it. He broke it up for me. So, because we don't have, you can't do outside now, but you could do inside.
I would
That's
make,
why we
I would
broke it
make a
up.
motion to, I would make a motion that up to the general municipal law threshold of what I believe is $25,000, we give Commissioner Murphy the discretion to take care of the painting that he sees fit to take care of.
Do I have a second on that motion?
I second it.
Any further discussion on this issue? All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Murphy,
Thank you.
Commissioner Weddle on that one. Anything else, Brian?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Commissioner Smith.
Okay, I think I mentioned last month that we were ordering 6 new radios for one of the trucks where we had a couple of bad ones. They've been ordered on state bid. The installation was a separate deal, but it was also on state bid. It was an addition. We ordered some charger pockets and so on. So the old ones will be removed and the 4 that remain in good service will be used as spares. I've been given an offer of $6,000 by our sales guy to sell the van. And it was 7, but the guy from Ohio that was going to give us that, he had a problem with the tornadoes that went through months ago and he backed out. So I think I'm going to pursue this $6,000 sale of the van and finally get it gone.
Would you like to make a motion on that?
I would like to make a motion, yes.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Any discussion on the sale of the van? And the van is currently in
Street.
Good.
Now it's Center Street.
Center Street.
Center
I thought it was
Street.
Elm Street.
Moved it.
We moved it.
They put it inside.
It's just too bad weather.
Yeah,
they keep it outside.
All right. So
Because of
we
the ice
have
and
a-
the snow.
we have a motion to sell the van for
6.
$6,000. We have a second. Any discussion on it?
Just one thing. We're taking the stripes off?
That was the motion. I guess we'll do this under discussion on the motion. We will try and get the stripes off, the CFD nomenclature off ourselves. Otherwise, we may have to spend a couple of dollars to have a body shop or something help us with that. But bottom line is I'm going to get $6,000. I'm going to hold fast on $6,000 from the buyer and the seller. I'm sorry, I'm the buyer. So the seller is going to get $6,000. The buyer is going to have to help fund the stripe removal if we can't do it ourselves manually.
You're gonna pull the lights in the radio?
Lights are, I think they were removed. If not, we will do that because it's going to a non-firematic entity. The radios were removed. The only thing that's still in the truck right now, to my knowledge, is the siren, which I think I'm going to see if I can get that out in the next day or so. Because they don't need a siren.
All right. So we have a motion. We had a discussion as amended with respect to the striping. And we also want to make sure that the lights and the siren are definitely removed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you
Okay,
for
one
that.
question
Sure.
on communications.
Yep.
They switched over.
To the new UHF, the new UHF system.
That sets the pagers off?
Not yet, no.
It won't set our pagers off?
It will. So what Brian's referring to is the trunking system has been upgraded throughout the county. Probably early March, they're going to go over to a new system of paging us. We have bought months and months ago, sometime mid last year, we bought 30 new pagers to go on this new system that's almost come to active status. The voice system is active and running every day, but the paging system is going to be on new pagers. And the county built a new tower, the county built a new radio facility over on Hartscrabble Road that will give us tremendous coverage in town. So the new UHF pagers are going to be deployed as soon as that system is ready and active. But the good thing is the county is going to be simulcasting on the low frequency that we're currently using and can start using the new UHF frequency. So we're going to be in good shape for quite a long time on paging.
Okay, that's all. I just curious.
Sorry. We got a fuel bill for the last quarter and I reviewed it and I sent it off to Robin and we okayed it. There's a few names. Everybody that gets fuel, whether it's a chief or somebody driving a truck, they have to enter a PIN down at the highway department. We noticed that there's a few people that are drivers that are not on the system. So I asked the chief to work on that and get our names the way the town wants it so that we can get fuel safely and reliably. I have released a bid with the help of the New York State OGS system for a new utility truck. And we have, I think, 15 days before it closes, and we'll see who comes back with the bids. So
Excellent. And you're working with our attorney on that, Michael Gorey,
I did, but I worked with him with the collection of data.
right?
And also the old vehicle and the purchase sticker, window sticker of the old vehicle. We combined it all together, and I sent that off as a PDF to the state, and it went out minutes after I got off the phone with her. So it's out there, and I just can't wait to see what we come back. And the good thing is that the dealer that we bought the previous vehicle from is on the list of state-approved contractors, bidders. One of the gentlemen that is up in Albany is renowned in this area for selling lots of vehicles, and he's well received. His service is good, so he's on the bid list as well. The company that we bought the last one that we rejected because of its quality and build was not up to our standards from Long Island. They are also on the bid list, so we'll have to see. There's 84, I think is the number, 84 bidders possible. Some of them don't deal in Chevy. Some only deal with GM or Ford or something. So we'll see where the bids come in.
Excellent.
And I'll appraise the board as soon as that's available.
Excellent.
And that's really all I have.
Excellent. Thank you. Commissioner Chris Weddle, Insurance and Finance.
I have nothing on finance. On insurance, Robin has done a terrific job of cross-referencing our independent life insurance policies, our LoSAP policies, and our current roster. She has identified a number of members that have been left off the amalgamated policies. I've reached out to the chiefs. I've gotten the emails of those members. Robin has sent me the plan and policy, plan approval or application, whatever it's called. So I'll be sending that out either tomorrow or the next day, so we can make sure those members are signed up. But other than that, all is in order.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. And then this is myself and Chris Weddle again. I have nothing on compliance and policy review, nothing on town liaison activities, and we already discussed the legal and contract review item that was discussed earlier.
Although I do have a comment on that.
Okay.
At our last meeting, we did table some policy reviews. So Terry, I think you and I need to find a time, sit down and run through them.
We do. In fact, it's actually on old business. Yes.
Yeah, and I know we have winter break coming up, and I know people are traveling and that sort of thing, but hopefully by the March meeting, you and I'll get an hour or so to get together.
You are correct. We will. Absolutely.
I forgot one thing.
Yes, sir.
When they do the bathroom, they will be inconvenienced because the bathroom will be closed.
Yeah, probably 2 days.
I think 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
So want to let you know.
Anything else there, Chris?
Careful what you ask for, right, Brian? No, I've got nothing else.
All right, and then all commissioners on policy review, we just discussed that. So we're going to jump right into old business.
Don't pause, I'll be back.
Yes. Firehouse exterior, we did that. Mount Kisco Fire Protection Contract, we discussed that. Public address system and siren, did we receive any complaints the last 30 days? If we could just check the email quickly, thank you. Check the email for any questions that may come in for public comment as well.
Nothing's received.
Nothing received, thank you. I do have a question, old business regarding the public address system and the siren. With the new paging system, is that going to give the chief and the chief staff an opportunity to look at the use of the siren moving forward? Or is this a totally unrelated issue?
The pagers are a new radio frequency. They're identical in every way other than frequency.
Mhm.
So they will be doing the same job that the current pagers are, so it's a separate and distinct question. The pagers will continue to page out the members that carry them, that are in earshot of the pager. The siren still will do its job for somebody that may not have a pager hand.
Exactly. And yeah, gotcha. That's good answer. Thank you for answering.
And I got something for old business.
Okay, just give me a second. On the agenda, there's a little mistake. We already talked about Oak Lane. We're just gonna put neighbor car lock underneath Oak Lane. Thank you. The policy review, we
But,
took
but we're
that.
good, we're good with Greg, right?
Our neighbor, Mr. Carlock?
Yeah.
Yes, we are actually. Everything's good to go. We've wished him luck with his new garage.
And he's
And,
agreed to move that back a foot or two, so it's entirely on his property.
Entirely on. his-
Entirely. Yeah, it's no longer our issue. He's dealing directly with the town on everything. And we wish him luck with this new
Yeah.
building.
It's gonna be a little larger,
Yeah,
because the original garage was small.
that's his right to build a big garage. My garage is pretty big too.
With the second story.
Yes. So no, again, I'm glad that we put that behind. He's a good neighbor,
Yes.
and we'll leave it at that. And I was just informed that apparently he's a doctor.
Is he?
Is he?
That's what I've been told.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know that to be true. We wish him luck with this new garage. Policy review, we discussed that. Just a quick discussion on website. I'll lead it off if you don't mind, very quick. So as you know, we're moving from 911 to Firehouse Solutions. We would like to do a slow move on this to make sure that we get every bit of data off the old system and onto the new before we go live. In addition to that, we're going to have to get all the commissioners and all the staff to work on the new website to make sure that the day we go live with it, that it's actually up and running and it looks good and it provides information to the residents, et cetera. So we're just going to move a little slower on this over the next couple of months, I guess, and to ensure that we get it right. Any
That's
more
right.
comment on that?
No.
Okay.
One quick question.
Sure.
I think last month we talked about the domain coming to
It's
our
all
provider.
It's all
done?
fixed.
Good.
Everything's squared away. Now's the time just to make sure all the information is transferred and we leave nothing behind, because once we leave 911, it's going to go poof. It's gone. So if we leave anything there, we may lose it. And we cannot lose anything. Everything's got to be transferred. So thank you for that. Any further questions on that? All right, new business.
I had one more thing.
Oh, yes, sir. Please.
A few months back, we all voted to pay for a drill, food for a drill. Right? Well, we're paying for more than a drill. It ain't much, but it adds up. And I really think he took advantage of it by doing what he did. And I think we should just cut the food out. We're not supposed to be buying food.
Can you be specific?
Breakfast with the chief every Sunday.
Yeah, that's not just with the chief, that's public outreach. The public is invited to that. It was done in the fall and the summer on the apron, and people would wander by, they would stop in, they would chat with the firefighters and whatnot. So it was not, it was at that point, it was not just the firefighters. It was public outreach, as I understood it. Am I wrong?
That is not what we were asked for. We were asked to pay for a drill. That's what we were asked to pay for. We agreed to pay for a drill. Not for their breakfast. I
Okay,
just
well,
think-
last Sunday it was a drill, but is there an objection to having food available if people want to stop by the firehouse and meet with the chief, meet with firefighters, that sort of thing?
I just brought it up. you guys decide.
No, I understand you're bringing it up, and I agree with you, and I'm familiar with the prohibitions of town law, but it would seem to me that that would be, in some measure, furthering the business and the goals of the district. We want to draw, and I mean that's just me, but I think we want to draw people in, not shut people out, right?
Could I just say that?
Absolutely. Treasurer's got the floor. Go ahead, Robin.
That I think we should do the policy book because from my experience, taxpayer money should not be spent on food. That's my experience with local government.
I don't disagree. I think this is a good conversation to have, and I think that Commissioner Murphy's spot on, and so is the treasurer.
Well, when it came up, I did not vote for it.
Well, and Robin is correct. We're limited not by policy, but by statute. And by statute, we are able to expend taxpayer dollars on the membership on one occasion only, and that is the annual inspection. We're also entitled to expend taxpayer dollars on a dinner for the fire commissioners at the end of the organizational session. However, this money is being rolled into the chief's expenses for public outreach, whether that be for not necessarily the fund drive, but membership recruitment and whatnot. And since we haven't expended district dollars on an inspection in 2 years, we haven't expended district dollars on a commissioners and their spouses or significant others since 2009, it seems to me that buying $40 worth of bagels on balance in the effort of member recruitment and public outreach and information might be money well spent and probably is permissible under the statute.
What say you, Robin?
I would say that would have to be definitely that it is legal under the statute.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Rob.
I would say that we would have to determine that it is definitely legal under the statute.
So maybe we need to roll this over into next month and do some research.
So we'll put this forward then on old business, Madam Secretary, for next year. And in the meantime,
Next month.
yes, excuse me. Thank you. In the meantime, Chris and Brian, perhaps you two want to do a sidebar on this issue along with Robin as well. Is that good?
Yeah, that's fine, but I think loop Michael in.
Okay, yeah. I always loop in the attorney when there's questions such as this. So absolutely. Thank you for that. Where are we now? New business. Couple of things quickly. We're almost out of here. We received an email from a resident of the district regarding a donation of a vehicle that they had made to the fire department. And we're trying to determine the response on that. I sent an email to the chief's staff. I believe I copied the treasurer on it. We have not heard back on that. Any and all donations to the fire department need to go through the district.
We can't do that.
Excuse me. Particularly when such donations are governed by, let's just say, IRS regulations. So, for example, if someone wants to make a donation, then we need to determine if it's permissible. So, in this case of a vehicle for the fire department, it still needs to go through the treasurer to ensure that we're permitted to do so. Correct?
I would.
I disagree.
All right. Well, we had a discussion regarding this earlier. Unfortunately, you weren't here, and this is
Just stop. Here's the thing.
Excuse me.
Just stop.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm asking you to stop so I can make my point, if you don't mind.
Actually, I just give me a second, Chris.
Go ahead.
All right. I believe the treasurer has the floor right now, and moving forward, I would never just yell at you and say, just stop, just stop, just stop. I would never do that.
Anytime.
I was copied
Please.
on the email and my question was, how is that valued? How do we value a donation? Is it Blue Book? Obviously, it can't be the residents letting us know what the cost of the car is as far as they're concerned. It has to be somehow regulated. And that was my question. And I wanted to know what our policy was on that, Chris.
Yeah, the donation is not to the district. Government, municipal corporations don't accept donations. What that is, that's a donation to the fire department. The fire department is not for profit. And the fire department will send or should send a letter to the resident that donated the vehicle, thanking them for their donation to a nonprofit organization, probably based on a Kelly Blue Book value, which may or may not be accurate. And that way the person who made the donation has a letter they can attach their, or at least have in their file with respect to their charitable contributions. That's the way it should be done, I believe. The district, I don't think the district, if somebody sent a check to to Newcastle Fire District #1 for $100, just thanks for your good work, I think we would be bound to return it.
No one's questioning that.
Yeah, so donation.
No one even, you haven't,
donation
first of all, we
is
haven't received any money via check, so that's not even on the table. So I'm not sure where you're going with this, but I'd be interested at this point.
Well, it's a parallel. It's a donation of something of value to an entity. The donation to the entity is not to the district; it is to the fire department. That's nothing to do with the district.
Well, there's a couple members of the board and the treasurer seems to think otherwise, but that's fine. We'll put this on old business for next month.
Kick it to Mike. Kick it to Mike. That's why he's there.
What's the order say?
Well, that's what I would be doing, running it by the auditor.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not mine.
There should be no letter on district letterhead going to this donor. It should be on the fire department letterhead, but kick it to Michael. It's Michael's job.
We'll kick it to the auditor as the treasurer just indicated.
I'd kick it to legal, but.
Next item. The CLC conducted its first informal meeting on February 1st. Thank you, Commissioner Murphy, for helping out on that. We got to meet the members and we introduced the members to the board members who were in attendance and the proposed project. And we went for a nice tour of the building and it was a great informal meeting. We discussed signing the owner certification for the SPDES. That is completed. I'll get it to the secretary, get it scanned, excuse me, and we'll get it to JMC. At this time, we have one visitor, resident of the district. Ms. Lynn Lambert is here.
I got nothing.
Lynn has nothing for tonight. Thank you for being here, Lynn, as always. Nothing came in email for public comment tonight. Thank you. All right, future dates. The next regular meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, March 16th. That's a Wednesday evening.
That's the one.
That's a Wednesday evening. We shifted the meeting from Thursday to Wednesday, March 16th at 7 p.m. Again, we would ask any resident of the fire district, if you have any questions or concerns or comments for our consideration, to email us at, and I will go ahead and spell it phonetically, Bravo Oscar Foxtrot Charlie at November Charlie Foxtrot Delta 1.org. And with that, I will.
I have one statement I'd like to.
Oh, yes, Commissioner Murphy.
I apologize to all those that are here and all those that are watching for my little outburst. I didn't mean to get excited, but I did. And I apologize for that. And I make a motion in the meeting.
Do we second that?
I have an
All in
objection.
favor? Excuse me.
I
Yes,
have an
Chris.
objection. I have an objection. In the chief's report, I understand the chief's not present, but I assume the chief's report will be attached to and made a part of the minutes of this meeting. The membership has asked to be added to the March agenda to discuss issues with the board. Now, I understand the agenda belongs to the chair, but is the chair inclined to entertain that request?
Not at this time. No, not at this time. I haven't been able to review this or discuss it with any other commissioners or anyone on the chief's staff. I'm unaware of the, just give me a moment.
And if I could say one thing,
It's one paragraph. I mean, you don't have to, they would like to address the board in a public meeting. Are we saying no?
yes. They formed a committee and the committee has not even met yet.
Right, and they have asked to be added to the, presumably they will meet before the March meeting. They would like to address the board. Are we going to say, no, we're not listening to the membership?
That's why they picked a committee.
So are we saying, no, we will not put that item on the agenda? Which is not up to us, it's up to Terry, but are we saying we're not going to listen to the membership? Is that what we're saying?
Say we're not going to listen to membership. As I told you, they just formed a committee just now.
Right, they've asked me to put it on the agenda for March. I want to know if that's going to be on the agenda for March or not. That's all.
Oh, that,
So we have a motion to adjourn. It's been seconded.
I'm sorry, can I not get an answer to this question?
I don't know what the question is, Chris, and who are you directing the question at, and what do you propose?
Well, I guess I'm addressing it to you since you set the agenda for the meeting. The Chapel Fire Department has formed a committee of 3 companies asking to have an opportunity to talk to the board in public session on the agenda in March. Are you saying, no, we're not doing that? Are you saying, no, you have not decided that? Are you saying yes? What are you saying? I don't know. They're going to want to know.
Chris already answered your question.
No, you have not.
I answered your question, Chris. I said I am not prepared. I'll say it again, Chris, all right? And please don't interrupt me and don't yell at me.
I'm not yelling.
Don't tell me to stop, all right?
I'm not telling you to stop. I just want the answer to the question.
May I continue, Chris?
Please.
I'll wait. When you're done, let me know and I'll continue.
I'm done. The answer is you don't know.
I already answered your question, and I said I am not prepared to put it on the agenda.
Okay,
I said
fair enough.
make a motion, we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Chris, what say you?
Aye.
Thank you.